of Christmas, why did some of Santa's helpers need to go see the therapist? Because they had
Uh,
low self-esteem.
oh, dude. Why are
Big
elves
problem,
such...
low self-esteem.
Well, why are elves so good at motivational speaking? Because they have high elf-esteem.
How does that work? My elves are going to the therapist for low self-esteem. How does that work? That's
We got better elves down
weird.
here, man. Our elves
You
are
got
just
better
way
elves.
more
Yeah.
confident.
Warning, this podcast may cause excessive dad jokes, sudden bursts of motivation, and the irresistible urge to high-five yourself.
Welcome to the Daddius Project, where we help dads master the biggest and messiest project of your life, dadhood.
I'm Scott Batcher, recovering perfectionist, dad of one teenage girl, and a guy who once didn't sleep for 6 months straight.
And I'm Evan Hill, professional chaos coordinator, dad of 3 teenagers, and living proof that duct tape can fix a sippy cup temporarily.
Each week, we'll hit you with real talk, dad hacks, and the kind of inspiration that doesn't require matching socks.
Ready to level up? Let's build this dad life together.
What's up, Scott?
What's up? What's
What's
up? Just another Wednesday. Just another Wednesday. I was actually out just before this, digging in the garden.
Oh, nice.
Dad work, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't quite see it.
That's good.
Can't quite see it, but see that is a blister coming out.
Oh, nice.
Mm, love
It's
it.
good, though. It's good to ground yourself. You need
I was
those.
full of ground dirt, that's for sure. So then I had to rinse
Yeah,
myself in the pool. You know, that's what happens when you live in the tropics or the subtropics like me or Ev. You make a lot of people jealous who are in the cold weather right now. Maybe a bit of snow, maybe a bit of stuff going on, but it was beautiful here. Nice day out there, digging some trees, then recording a
I gotta
podcast.
ask. I gotta ask. For you, what's your experience like of Christmas compared to when you used to live in Newfoundland? Like now, you being in Australia and Christmas coming around. Because I'll tell you my side of it, but I want to hear yours first.
Well, I mean, I've been doing this for a lot longer than you, so I can tell you, it never really feels like Christmas. It's got a weird vibe to it. You know, of course, the family and the tree and the stuff, but the meals are different because of the heat and just the fact that, you know, I remember my very first Christmas here on Christmas morning, waking up and going for a swim in the pool to cool down
Yeah.
before you have
Yeah.
breakfast and open up some presents or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
what? It's just completely different. Such a different experience. And unfortunately, just never really has that, uh, you know, Christmas feel to it. It's very different.
Well, describe what your Christmas feel like, your ideal Christmas experience, so people know like what you came from, you know, compared to what it is like for you now.
Well, I mean, growing up in Newfoundland, it's cold and snowy. But most people, it's an interesting one because people ask all the time about the whole white Christmas experience and, oh, I want to go to Canada and have a white Christmas. I'm like, you know what? It's still 50-50 whether you have a white Christmas in most parts
Oh,
of
yeah.
Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
It's
not
not
guaranteed.
it's not
No
a given.
guarantee.
It's definitely no guarantee.
No,
I think
no.
growing up, it was probably maybe 60-40 with white versus not.
Yeah, definitely way more likely when we were young. Yeah,
To have snow or not?
to have snow. Yeah,
To have snow. Yeah.
yeah,
But definitely not a given. And
no,
yeah, so, you know, and I guess when you're a kid, Christmas is more magical anyway. And just that whole, the difference, even more so for me than you, would be we're on school holidays here, like summer holidays as well. So the school year is different, where my daughter has 2 months off at this time of year. So it's summer holidays plus Christmas, whereas back home, the holidays were a very specific holiday time, right? And everyone was off. Whereas here, it's a mixture of stuff. So,
a lot of different factors. A lot of different factors. Yeah, and the difference down here is that like we're just not exposed to consumerism, and that's where a lot of the Christmas spirit seems to come from, is going into stores and hearing the music, and they've got it all decorated, and you're buying presents for people, and you've got the tree, and like, because here it's very difficult to store a tree because the climate is so humid that if you were to store a tree in a room that wasn't climate controlled, that tree is completely molded, like something, an artificial tree, but like anything that you leave in the space over the course of the year that's not climate controlled, it's going to be a disaster. So what do you do with all your Christmas stuff? So people just don't load up on people just don't load up on all that stuff that you decorate your house with. So, and decorations are a big part of it, right? The lights and the tree and the stockings and all that. Like, we have very little of that. We have maybe like three things, 4 things, maybe. And that's all we have. And there's really nowhere to buy stuff. I'd have to go 2.5 hours to Liberia to maybe find something at Walmart, for my kid.
Right.
One Walmart there, and they have a Price Mart, and then there's some shops and stuff, but it's not like the kids are like, oh my gosh, I really want, a shirt or a pair of pants, or, at this particular store, or, it's just difficult to find stuff unless we go all the way to San Jose, which is 5.5 hours away, 5, 6, 7 hours away, sometimes depending on traffic. So we just haven't been buying much at all. And we buy stuff for the kids throughout the year, but back when we were in Toronto, Christmas was huge, and the kids would get 2 or 3 like good presents, plus some smaller things as well. So, and from the grandparents. And so we're talking like many things that they're opening up, and the excitement of running downstairs and the fire being on and the lights and everything, and the cold, going outside afterwards and playing in the snow if there is snow, but just being like cool and having to bundle up, seeing your breath in the air when you're walking down the street. And it's a completely different vibe. And Cheyenne, my wife, she feels a little guilty that like we haven't been able to keep that up. But at the same time, and this is back to the theme of last week or the week before, we were talking about that we don't birthdays is not about like me getting older. It's that I get to get older. And it's the same kind of thought that I had in this moment when I was thinking about my kids and having these Christmases that they look back fondly on, and we weren't able to reproduce that here. Like, it's impossible. It's impossible to reproduce that experience for a lot of the things that you just said. And,
consumerism is fucking rampant in Australia. Don't worry about that. So that part of it is all the same. The shops and
you have
the lights
a lot
and
of
things. And
you have a place to store stuff, probably, right? Like, you got stuff. You pull it out. I mean, you decorate.
You should see. You should see the front of my house. I go all out. Like, we got the best house in the estate for Christmas.
So just like you with throwing great parties, like the Gatsby party, and like you're like the dress up, and you don't just dress yourself up; you dress up the house.
Exactly.
You're one of those guys. I get it.
And we get a real Christmas tree every year, even here in Australia.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. I mean, you're doing a lot of the stuff, and it's still not the same as when you're in Newfoundland, when you're in the cold, and there's that element to it. It's just very different time of year, like having that special like break just for that. And back to what I was saying about that reference to birthdays, and thinking about birthdays not as that I'm getting older. It's that I get to get older. And in this case, I'm thinking about my kids, and it's rather than focusing on the fact that they don't have that same Christmas, it's that they got to have the Christmas that they had, and focus on, wow, that's awesome that they're looking back at that fondly and loving that time of their life. Like, how great is that they're expressing that right now? And although we don't have it right now, we have something different. And maybe they'll look at that these times, in a way that is like, oh, that was cool too, But I think we still have to find that groove. It's just not coming to us like yet. So we'll see. We'll see if we hit that groove. Yeah. Sounds like you've got some groove going with.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been doing it a lot longer. I'm here 25 years now, almost. So,
oh wow.
When all 3 years time, I believe I'm here as long as I wasn't here. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had my training wheels off for a while. You still have yours on.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm just 4 years in. The first couple of Christmases were like, I was just glad I was alive. So it was just more.
Some relief.
I had shelter and I could feed myself. I felt good about that. So yeah.
Speaking of Christmas, why did some of Santa's helpers need to go see the therapist? Because they had low self-esteem.
Oh, dude. Why are elves such
low self-esteem?
Well, why are elves so good at motivational speaking? Because they have high self-esteem.
How does that work? My elves are going to the therapist for low self-esteem. How does that work?
We got better elves down here, man. Our elves are just way more confident.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's
and
probably
Christmas
just
trees
a mix
don't.
Of...
Christmas trees don't knit, hey? Do you know why? They keep dropping their needles.
Yeah. That would be tough as a tree.
Yeah.
To knit.
And I knew a reindeer stand-up comic.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't very good because he would always say, before a joke, he would always say, "This one's gonna slay."
I like that one. That's good. I like that one. Well, it reminds me of my daughter because sometimes she uses the word slay. That's not a word that I ever used in my entire life until like probably just came into my sphere within the last year with her.
What's up with this whole? What's up with the whole 6'7" thing?
That's it's crazy. It's such a big thing. I play basketball with a bunch of guys. Some of them are older. One guy's like 65, maybe around 65, and the score went to 6'7", and he's like, 6'7". That's a thing, right?
Nobody seems to know where it actually kind of what it is. It's just a thing.
Yeah. That's just funny how he's the oldest guy on the court.
Yeah.
He's laughing about this and making it a thing, and everyone else is just like, yeah, it is, but we don't get it. So anyway, let's carry on.
It's a young person thing. No idea what that means. But you ask the young people, and they don't really know either.
Nobody knows. It just became something. Yeah,
it's like one of those urban myths.
Mm-hmm. There's just all these different trends that happen. A lot of the trends are consumer trends. So I kind of like that this is outside of the consumer trend. I don't think, obviously there's not any like benefit to this. It's not like a trend that's like improving the world, but in a funny way, it kind of does bring people together because it's something the whole world can have in common is this 6'7" thing, which it's interesting that something so simple can actually tie people together and create community. Like a good example was I was watching the highlight of, it was a clip of a high school or college team playing basketball, and this one team was just absolutely running away with the game and got 67. And when they got to 67, the whole arena erupted. And people were all up cheering and dancing. There's a 6-7 dance, which also is super simple, that everybody can do. And so it's funny how something so small has actually brought people together, you know, and in a time where there's a lot doing the opposite. So it's kind of funny when you really think about it.
Yeah.
This whole 6-7 phenomenon.
Yeah, I have no idea. Next topic, because I don't understand.
Yeah, I got a story for you.
Yes.
So I'm at I went to my daughter's horseback riding competition, which I must say, like, horses are big animals to me. I imagine most people feel
scared
like
to death of them.
they're fairly large. Yeah. And like, so I don't know horses very well. So because I don't understand them, I have like a lot of uncertainty and some fear around them. And especially when my daughter is riding this animal and jumping like big pieces of wood and other things, like they're jumping crazy stuff with these massive animals. And my daughter's 14 years old. She probably weighs about 100 pounds. And it's like, this is a really hard thing to do, to go and watch it. But I want to see her ride. You know, this is my daughter, and this is a big deal. She's been training for this event for months. She's been working with her horse, and like, this is, win or lose, this is definitely going to be a big moment for her in her life. I want to be there. And it wasn't easy for me to be there. I had other stuff going on. I had a semifinal basketball game in another town. Like right afterwards, I had to anyway. And we were talking about these events, and these girls have 2 minutes, around 2 minutes that they're riding the horse, and they got one shot. That's it. Like, they've been training for months, anticipating this. They had to send their horses to like 2.5 hours away. They're lodging in another place. They're working on mental focus, going through it's a brand new circuit that they haven't seen, competing. There's people watching, and they get 2 minutes. And I'm like, wow, I'm nervous. I'm on the sidelines, and I'm talking to this other dad, and we're sharing this common concept that they got 2 minutes and that's it. And he said, yeah, but think of it this way. And he said, this is what I say to my kids if they fail at or they don't place, or something bad happens when they're doing an event, as I say to them, well, at least you're not in the Olympics, because they're training for 4 years and they might have 2 minutes one time. And if they're a track athlete and they just stumble out of the blocks that one time, that's it. It's like, see you in 4 years, right? But he would say to his daughter, you have next week, you have tomorrow, or you have the next week where, you're going to be able to go and jump with her again, and you might be able to jump at new levels and achieve more. And I thought, wow, that's a cool perspective, where it's just like, when you have the opportunity to practice something on a regular basis, because everybody has to fail. Like, to get to greatness, you got to fail. It's inevitable, like the learning process. And the faster you can fail and get better and repeat, the better you're going to be. And not to look at that one time as it being the be all and end all. But it was an interesting experience for my daughter, because she had a tough go. She, each of her events, they had 3 events. One's dressage, one's cross country, where they're running through field and jumping things, and then I don't even know what the other one was. But they get judged on all of them, and then their cumulative score decides whether they place or not. And she had trouble in all of them, but she'd finished them all, and it was like she was sad after every event. She thought she was failing. She was crying, and seeing that as a dad, it's heartbreaking, right? Like, just to see your daughter just struggling, with caring so much, which I love. I love the passion, but then failing and feeling sad, about her performance. And she ended up placing, and she placed third. She placed third, and she didn't expect it. And so it was encouraging the perseverance, even though when things don't feel like they're going your way and you feel like you're failing, you still had a breakthrough. Like, you made podium. You're competing against all these different people from all these different barns all over Guanacaste, and you placed. And so I was really proud of her for that. But there was a lot of little nuggets there, little parenting, Daddius type things. And I think that perspective on, all right, so it didn't go well today, but at least you're an Olympic athlete. You got to wait 4 years for your chance at a medal. Like, this could happen on your next event. So now I know you've got something
reminds
up
me
your
of
sleeve.
kind of reminds me of a. You ever watch CrossFit?
CrossFit. I did CrossFit. I don't watch it, but
like the sport side of it.
Actually, I did. I have watched probably 2 events.
Yeah, like back in the day, one of the guys who made it really popular was Rich Browning. I don't know if he's a fella or not. He was like, I don't even won like 3 or 4 in a row or something, and then like retired. Like, so he definitely didn't do a lot of, I'll call them pro athletes. Like, they got paid and paid well, so call it a pro athlete. Yeah, like I think when he won, you get $500,000 or something for a fringe scenario. It's good enough money, and then he got sponsorship, so he was definitely making enough money. But he said in CrossFit, it's kind of like life, but he said you don't have to be great at anything, but you've got to be good at everything and not suck at anything. All right, so CrossFit's basically a sport where they talk about it being the fittest man in the world, and I think they're not far off on that, because you can break it up. Yeah, you can break it up and go, well, there's guys who can run faster than these guys. Yeah, but they're like the skinny dudes who can't lift the weight of themselves. And then there's guys that are stronger than these guys, but they can't run the length of themselves. They done events. I remember one crazy event one year was the very first event of the games was to do a half marathon on a rowing machine. Right? So they do 21 kilometers on a rowing machine, and that was event one. Yeah. And then the next event was like 1 rep max deadlift. Completely separate things.
Yeah. It's unbelievable how good a shape these guys are in. Like, they're just
and in
tough,
everything, like Rich said, you can't suck at anything, because if you come last in an event because you suck at it, you're probably not winning, because you got to kind of play. And that's like back to what your daughter was doing. She's like, oh, she didn't place first in any of them. Well, the cumulative was that she placed.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And actually what happened is one of her teammates got disqualified on one of the events. It was an unfortunate situation, but she got disqualified. And then the event that I watched, I only watched one of the 3, that same girl had an incredible run. She did incredible. And my daughter was struggling. She got through it, but it was like she really had to work the horse, whereas the other one looked like it was just like happened so naturally and beautifully. And it's that idea that, and actually, let's talk about this. right? Like CrossFit for dads in a way. It's, not that rigorous, but the same concept. You need to be good at everything. And it's great if you're great at some of them too, but you can't suck at any of them. You really can't, and there's 6 pillars, like 6 pillars in the Daddius project that we go through, and you really can't suck at any of them, because then it's eventually going to bite you in the ass in one way or another, in a big way. And that's just like sport, right? CrossFit, you can't suck at anything, because eventually you're going to get to that and it's going to catch up, right? So, yeah. Now I know that you also have something up your sleeve for this episode, and it's along that same theme of not sucking at Christmas. It's not exactly the title, but I mean, it's like
not quite.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a chiropractor by day. So at my practice last night, I gave a talk called 10 Ways to Stay Healthy and Resilient During the Holidays. And I thought, you know what, this is pretty good. And I actually took some of the material from the book as part of this talk. So I thought today's podcast could really be about that, because it's early enough in the season, still another couple of weeks till Christmas, that you can adopt and adapt some of these situations for yourself out there, dads, to help you get through the holidays in a great way. So let's go through it. So Ev has not heard what these 10 ways are at all. So I'm just going to run through some of my slides and give some of the info, and we'll have a quick chat about each of these steps and just give you the idea for some cool ways to stay resilient during the holidays. So
it's something I'd say
go ahead.
that you could really start now, because I mean, by the time we get this out, it's probably December 13th. And it's those 2 weeks leading up to Christmas and just after Christmas, around between Christmas and New Year's, that people do a lot of damage. Like they can really throw themselves off the rails on a number of things. It's nice to let loose and not be strict all the time, but I've seen a lot of people come back after the holidays and they're just not doing great. Like their health is not good, or they've put on weight, or they're just really, like no energy, tired, these types of things. So it's like, let's come out of the holidays like better. That's the idea, right?
That's right.
Resilient, strong and resilient, right?
Yeah, that's definitely the full idea, because like you just said, I started out by talking about what's called the holiday health trap, right? And that's where we overeat, we overspend, and we overdo and get overwhelmed with everything around Christmas time. Stress skyrockets, sleep plummets, waistlines grow, and bank accounts empty, right? And the result is a body that runs on caffeine and candy canes. And it's probably not the best way
caffeine
to do it,
and candy canes. You just said caffeine and candy canes?
I did. You know what?
Attaboy.
That's probably going to be the name of this episode.
Caffeine and candy canes. Yeah.
I like it.
How about caffeine and candy canes, how to not mess up your Christmas?
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that. Cool. All right, let's do that. Let's do that.
So,
all right, so now that we're all waiting, what? Go ahead.
So, stop talking. Let me talk.
Yeah. Go.
So that's the holiday health trap. That's the first part. But the good news is you don't have to fall into that trap if you have an awareness around it and not just fall into the trap, right? So that's good news is we can actually thrive this holiday season. And so what I call that is the holiday health solution. And the holiday health solution revolves around habits. And this is one of the concepts from the book. Small things done consistently will far outweigh big things done inconsistently all day, every day. In everything you do with everything that matters. Your health, your wealth, your relationships, everything. And in the book, we talk about the idea of hitting singles versus swinging for home runs and striking out. And so over this holiday season, don't try to be perfect because it ain't never going to happen, but try and hit singles. And this is where these 10 steps come in, trying to create singles on a regular basis.
Nice.
All right. So number one, I am, like I said, a chiropractor by day. And this was a talk I did to chiropractic clients. So also I wrote a book about posture called Move It or Lose It. And so number one is to prioritize your posture. And the reason why is because of something called the somatopsychic response or effect. And so I'll describe what it is. Ev, you've probably heard it, maybe not in those words, but I talk about it in that posture book of mine. Is there's a response in the body where the soma is the body and the psyche is the mind, and they greatly influence each other. You know, stress and posture are best friends because of this. When you have a bad posture, so slumped shoulders, rounded forward head posture, it has a great effect on how the body runs. So you end up having low energy, shallow breathing, fatigue. You just feel like rubbish. But when you do the opposite, when the soma or the body improves itself with great posture, you oxygenate better, you breathe better, you feel better. It actually releases the right hormones in the body. And so you feel energized, you feel vital, and you feel more alive. And there's research done on this. So it's really, really cool to show that just standing up with better posture has a positive effect on your resilience, because when your body's running better with better posture, you're going to feel better, you're going to function better, you're going to breathe better, your immune system, and all of that is improved by doing that.
Yeah. There's specific postures that we call stress postures. And the challenge here, though, is that posture in a lot of ways is happening when somebody's not thinking about it. When you're thinking about it, you can make the correction and maybe stand up straighter and that sort of thing. But there's a lot of times where you're not thinking about your posture. You can't double task on that. You can't multitask on thinking about your posture an entire day. It's just not going to happen. So what's the solution there? Because if when you stop thinking about it, your posture goes to slumpy and stress posture, which is shoulders rolled forward, you know, the tight breathing in the chest, head forward, that kind of, you know, it's a typical stress posture, which can have some pretty significant health consequences over time. How do you get out of that if that's what you go to when you're stressed all the time? And my answer would be you go see a chiropractor, because that means there's tension that's tied up into your nervous system, into your spine, and you need some release. And chiropractic is a great way to do it. There's other ways, I'm sure, for some of the other stuff you're going to talk about. There's other types of people that can assist, you know, with loosening up the body and releasing tension. But I'd say chiropractic is probably my number one when it comes to advising people on how to get started.
Well, that's tip number 2. It's like you knew, but you didn't.
I didn't know.
Right? No. Because I would agree that there's a few main ways to address posture, and you're exactly right. I call it sort of the conscious versus unconscious posture, right? When you're conscious about it, you can stand up straight, but it's the unconscious posture, which is there 99.9% of the time. That's the most effective change that you can create. One is by being adjusted by a chiropractor. That definitely helps. And then 2 is working on it separately than each individual time. So the habits is when you are aware of it, to improve that posture every time, right? I call it a chest lift. And so if you imagine somebody tied a rope to your chest bone and is trying to lift you off the ground, and you just lift that chest up as high as you can, it kind of creates that nice alignment with just one move. Instead of trying to think, pull your shoulders back, pull your head back, do this, do that, just lift that chest up, and lift everything kind of lift chest. Goes not even just lift head, because lift your head.
No, I know. I'm saying don't focus on just the head, because you got to do the
exactly.
chest.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Chest up.
Yeah. Focus on the chest.
Not out either. Not out, but straight up to the sky. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then adjustments. So again, we won't be harping on too much because I know you guys didn't tune in for a chiropractor session. But people ask me all the time because, we've been chiropractor 50 years between the two of us, just about. And so, we've been around the block. We've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of people and seen amazing results with so many of those people. People ask me all the time, well, what's your definition of chiropractic? And my chiropractic is what a chiropractor does is makes adjustments to the spine to a thing called a subluxation, which is the spinal problem, which helps the body adapt to and deal with stress better. That's it. That's the definition of chiropractic in my mind. Not about back pain, it's not about neck pain, it's not even about posture, although it does help with those things. What it's about is resilience. When your body, your brain is connected to your body better because your spine is kind of the gateway between the two, then your whole body runs better. And there's new research coming out now that is just amazing on the results that we see in practice all the time, but that now we're starting to be able to describe it and why that happens. So every adjustment has an effect on what's called the prefrontal cortex, this part of the brain. This part of the brain has a huge response with emotions, with neuroendocrine or hormones, with straight up inflammation, and other areas of the body that control the organs. So that's why we tend to see these really cool results of people that we couldn't explain before. Because we're not just pushing on a spine, we're affecting the brain. So
and that's
number
an
2, see a
important
chiropractor.
add.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's an important add when you add that part about, we're focused on the spine. And really the other part of it is the nervous system, because that's where that resilience and adaptability comes from, is when the nervous system is adapting to the environment in a healthy way, going into the sympathetics, into the parasympathetics, and being able to, like when you eat food, engage the parasympathetics the way it needs to so you can digest. But when you're going to need to run, your sympathetics are, being engaged the way they need to be engaged so you can run and pump that blood through and so on. And a lot of people, their system is out of balance, and it's being, it's too much or too little. And then you get symptoms, and guess what? When you have symptoms, you got to be careful, because at that point you might get medicated. Those symptoms are coming from a lot of chances, like there's a good chance that it'll be offered. And this is a really important thing. We're talking about posture and we're talking about chiropractic, but really like what is potentially prevented here is going down a path where it becomes extremely complicated. Because as soon as you start putting in medications into your body, then you look at the list of side effects of a lot of these medications that help things like blood pressure, for example, which is impacted by the nervous system. When you start taking blood pressure medication, there's a lot of things that can happen, because of blood pressure medication, and then that might become a new symptom. And then we see that. I saw this all the time with patients where they'd be on 6 or 7 medications, and one of the medications is to help with the symptom of the other medication. It can get ridiculous, but if you just take care of your spine and your nervous system, I'm not saying it's going to cure all issues, but man, like what Scott talked about there is like, not only is your posture going to be better, which affects the way like our hormones and everything. You can tell when somebody's in a stress state and their energy is low and everything versus the posture's up. There's a whole different energy vibration there. And that's one part of it. But we're also talking about, your body being able to adapt to what you're doing and do it properly. Well, that comes from the spine and the nervous system being healthy. A huge part of it is that. And I'm sure some of the other ones too. So it's not about Christmas only. This is really about life.
Well, no, of course. I mean, these 10 reasons can be applied to anywhere in life all the time, but they just tend to get overdone at Christmas, which I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. But number 3 is protect your sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And there's one thing I'm realizing as I get older: sleep is so important. And I've got a little equation for you. Late nights plus sugar plus stress plus alcohol equals the Grinch of Christmas recovery.
100%. 100% add all that stuff. Like, yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, we've harped on about that, but absolutely the thing I've seen the most problematic for my sleep is if I have some alcohol. 100% the worst thing I can do for a bad night, or the best thing I can do if I want a bad night's sleep, is to have more than 2 drinks. Crazy how much it affects me. And I know there's research out there, but I haven't done a lot of research. I just know from my own personal experience that that's a huge one.
Yeah. Oh,
so I'm not
same
saying
with me,
drink,
and I think,
right?
Yeah, it's common. This is a common thing. If guys, the dots are connected on those 2 things. So yeah, if you're going to be drinking multiple nights and sacrificing multiple nights of good sleep, like, it doesn't take many bad sleeps before it takes a few days to recover, which,
I mean, especially if you're a young dad out there and you've got little bubs in your sleep, it's just not happening anyway. Add alcohol to that, it's going to be a disaster. So I'm not saying don't drink. What I'm saying is moderate that drink. Think, okay, if I'm going to have some drinks, I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to, get drunk or whatever you're going to do, and go, okay, I'm going to make sure I don't have any for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 nights after that. Choose your nights. Right. And just those 1 or 2 drinks at the end of the day to help calm you down or do whatever are doing the exact opposite of what you think they are.
Yep.
Another part about sleep is to create a sleep sanctuary. A cool, dark place for sleep is super important. For most of our listeners listening in other areas who might be cold now, you're already probably a bit cold. But for us, making sure that there's cool, dark, no screens, use an eye patch, use a white noise, all kinds of different tips and tidbits that you can use around your sleep. Wind down,
no
you can do some
screens,
breathing.
When you say no screens, just want to clarify, that means like no tablet, no phone, no computer before bed.
Yeah, ideally for 1 to 2 hours. But again, at least not on your bedside table. Plug your phone in a different room. Get a different alarm.
Definitely.
Yeah, just get rid of that phone.
Yeah.
And then talking about alcohol.
Do not. Just going to add to that thing on the phone. Definitely do not have the phone near you when you're sleeping.
Exactly.
Plugged in or off plugged, like in another room, minimum.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to have it near
on a different floor.
Yeah, that's great. If it's going to be in the same room as you, it's off.
Off. Which whoever shuts their phone off unless the battery dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can wind down with breathing techniques. I'm going to do a little one in a few minutes because number 6 or 7 or something like that's about breathing. But wind down with breathing techniques, not spice rum and eggnog, which, by the way, is one of my favorite Christmas drinks. I always have a couple of spiced rum and eggnogs while I'm putting the tree decorations on. Every year.
There's a ritual. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It's a good one to recognize that doing some sleep habits are going to be more effective generally than supplementing for sleep. It's really, magnesium, it's been shown to have some help. Melatonin, yes, but then your body stops making melatonin. So you really want to look at some sleep habits instead of trying to supplement your way out of it.
Definitely.
And there's this myth out there. Have you heard this, Ev, around 1 hour sleep before midnight is equal to 2 hours of sleep after midnight?
I've heard it's actually 1 hour sleep before 10 o'clock.
There you go.
Yeah, is a lot more beneficial. Neither one is actually
true. So it's not. It is more beneficial, but it's not equal to 2 hours, right? So the myth is that 1 hour before midnight or 10 o'clock you heard is equal to 2 after, and that's not necessarily true. But what is true is that there's a circadian rhythm to sleep, and the more consistent you can be with your bedtime, the better your sleep circadian rhythms are. So if you choose a time of 10 p.m., then really try to go to bed at 10 p.m. every night within a 15-minute window. And actually, there was a study done, Ev, you'll like this, about NBA players. And they were looking at East-West Coast, And so if East Coast teams had to travel West Coast to play, then the games are later, or vice versa, whichever the way it works. And they saw that the physical stats of their performance were significantly different when they would travel. And one of the main reasons was the bedtimes. And so they did studies on the NBA players and looked at their performance levels, and they saw there was a window of a 15-minute difference in their sleep times. After 15 minutes, their performance went down.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you chose 10 o'clock, you want to be going to bed between 9:45, 10:15.
Yeah. Wow. That's tight.
Right. And
that's tight.
Yeah. And these are and of course, the better you are at it, the better it is. Doesn't mean like, oh my God, it was 31 minutes. It's not going to work. That's not it.
That's
but
funny.
You want to be consistent with that bedtime. And what happens is deep sleep, which is one of the cycles of sleep where it's the most restorative for the brain, because the brain needs to clean out the junk that builds up every day. And deep sleep is when that happens. We used to think sleep was just this thing. We went to sleep, we woke up. But our brain is super active during sleep. It's one of the things. Think about it like a chalkboard at school. Do they even use chalkboards anymore? I don't even know. I don't think they do. So, but a chalkboard at school, if you remember, like you would do the chalk, and then you would use the eraser, and you do the chalk and the eraser, and then the whole chalkboard's kind of white because you didn't actually get rid of the stuff. You had to get a wet cloth and wipe the chalk off. That's what sleep does for your brain. It wipes the chalk off the chalkboard. Because during the day, it's just accumulating and it needs to get wiped off, and deep sleep does that. Deep sleep happens at the beginning of your sleep cycles. So the later you go to bed, you're shutting that deep cycle down. And the REM side of sleep, which is a different part of sleep, rapid eye movement, dreaming, that type of thing, tends to happen early morning. And so typically, if you have a late night, as a dad, you're probably not making up that time the next morning. Right? You're not like, oh, I went to bed 3 hours later, so I'm going to sleep in for 3 hours more. Yeah, right. You're just going to cut your sleep short. Right? So then you get very, very little REM. And so that's a major problem too. So that's why, not from a specific time point of view, but from a point of view where you typically go to bed later, you're cutting your short sleep. You're getting less deep, less REM, and less restorative sleep.
I always found that so satisfying when the teacher would take the cloth and finally wipe it was like a Zamboni after a period of hockey.
Yeah.
You know, where it's
that's
just
another
like
good way to put it.
This like
Absolutely.
So smooth and clean. And it's like, damn, why don't you do that every 10 minutes? Because looking at that.
Well, they do in hockey, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Commercial breaks. I didn't really realize until I was there at the Montreal game
that they
2 years ago, whatever. Oh, every 5 minutes or so, there are Zambonis out on the ice. It's amazing.
Oh, really?
I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Okay, they changed that then, because it used to, in my opinion, like in my memory, it was between periods that they would do it. But getting back to the
rec league, your 8-10-year-old rec league with the pros, it's seriously every probably maybe 10 minutes, but all the time.
Really?
You'd be out
I think
5
that changed
times in a period.
Okay, dads, did that change? Because when I used to watch hockey back in the day, like Toronto Maple Leafs back in like the 90s, watched a lot of hockey then. I don't remember them cleaning the ice regularly. I never went live. I didn't have money for that. Come on.
If you were, dude, commercial breaks. You never got to see it when you watch it on TV.
Yeah.
That's why I said when I was there.
I know.
It's amazing. You
were there
quick.
Recently, though. You were there like a month ago, or like this last year.
Two years ago.
2 years ago. So not a month.
2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So anyway,
I'm talking.
I bet you they've been doing
like
it.
30 years ago. I'm thinking they didn't do it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm curious about.
Hey,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I would
if
like to
anyone's
know.
Listening out there who happens to have gone to a live hockey game and remembers if the Zambonis came out, then please get on to us. We just love
so
it.
Did the Zamboni only come out between periods back in the 90s, or did they come out during commercial breaks like Scott's experienced 2 months ago? Because I'm saying that wasn't the case.
I'm saying
who's on my side?
100% was the case. Yeah.
No, I want to know who's on my side.
Number 4 is manage your mindset. So one of the big ones is around expectations and gratitude when it comes to mindset. So don't expect to have perfect holidays, because if you have an expectation of perfection in anything, you're going to be greatly disappointed, because perfection is not a thing. What we want to aim for is peaceful holidays, because a calm nervous system is the best gift you can give yourself. So let's look at expectations. So I'm going to do a little bit of a research dump on you here. So there was a couple of cool studies done. So I'll just read it out here and get your feedback on it. So simply anticipating a stressful event, which is an expectation of it being stressful, can raise your physiological stress response. So people who expected to submerge their hand in ice cold water, you know, have you ever done that before? It freaking hurts.
No, I haven't done
So you haven't done it. You just get a container full of water, put some ice in it, let it get really cold, stick your hand in there. It fucking hurts. It does. It's that cold. It hurts. So
I don't want to do that. Thanks, but no thanks.
So just watch what happens, though. Just you thinking about it. So the stressor of people who expected to submerge their hand in ice water showed increased blood pressure, decreased frustration tolerance. Just if you expected to have it happen. So it's this anticipatory stress sometimes produces hangover effects. So even after the stressor was canceled, participants still had lower frustration tolerance than people who never expected the stressor. So they looked at two groups where they told, they didn't even do it. They told people they were going to stick their hand in ice water. And then they told another group that nothing was going to happen. And even after just expecting it to happen, not even happening, frustration tolerance, whoop, gone.
Wow.
Physiological blood markers. So check out this next study. Here we go. Negative expectations or bias towards expecting the worst boosts anxiety and stress reactions. So get this. There was a study found that participants who anticipated or expected a stressful movie. So they were told they were going to watch a stressful movie. With negative expectations, were more likely to experience intrusive memories and persistent anxiety afterwards. Even just being told they're going to watch a movie that's stressful. Crazy, eh? It's called preservative cognition hypothesis. And it's that repetitive worrying or mentally revisiting potential negative events prolongs physiological stress, such as elevated heart rate and elevated cortisol, even when no external stressors were present.
Okay, so here's
told they were going to watch a stressful movie.
Okay, we're talking about Christmas here, and not only are you told that you're going to go do something, but you're going to be probably, a lot of times there's people that you're going into a situation, maybe with some other family members that you're not super fond of, and you got to hang out with them, and you're like already anticipating that it's going to be stressful and this and that, and already you're wrecking yourself.
Just by that.
It's like nothing's even happened. Yeah. So what's the solution? Because, people like do that all the time. All the time. I mean, we could do an episode on each one of these separately, but like this one here, we could go on to for a while. So what do people do? Just drink?
Well, there's Well, that is an answer. We talk about it like tools in the tool belt of stress, right? And that alcohol is a tool. It's just not the best tool. So
definitely not the best tool.
Again, a big part of managing it is an awareness behind that and realizing that just the expectation that it's going to be stressful and trying to remove it. Now, it's easier said than done, but if you don't have an awareness of it, you're not going to do anything about it. So just an awareness is one, but realizing that stress response, even when something doesn't happen, has the same effect. And the way I like to describe it sometimes is that your body or your brain, your nerve system, doesn't really know the difference between a perceived stressful event and an actual stressful event. It will react in the same way.
Yeah, when he says perceived, he means like if you were to close your eyes, imagining yourself in a car accident and something tragic happening, or you're getting pulled over by the police or something else, then you're going to have a stress response as though it's actually happening, just because you're visualizing it or thinking about it.
Yeah, crazy. So managing expectations and mindset can be as powerful as all these other things, like fixing your posture and exercise and nutrition when it comes to overall stress and health. So being aware of it. So simple interventions around that could be breathing, and we're going to talk about that. Realistic mindset expectations, which we just mentioned. Movement, which I'm going to do in just a minute. Reframing those expectations to say, is it really that bad? And that's going to help blunt some of these stress responses. Now, the second one around managing your mindset is gratitude. And gratitude's a funny word. It's one that can sometimes be glazed over, or when you hear it, like, oh, gratitude, I hear so much rubbish. Is it really a thing? Number one, it is. The research, there's actually a phenomenal amount of research out there. So this is one of the studies done. It was a meta-analysis of 64 randomized control trials. Think about that. So one randomized control trial is the gold standard. Now, we're not going to debate that right now, but technically right now it is gold standard. We may talk about that one day, and how lots of other research is great. But this was a meta-analysis of 64 of those. So a huge, huge meta-study analysis showed that gratitude interventions such as journaling, written or expressed gratitude are associated with greater positive feelings, better emotional regulation, less anxiety, and fewer depressive symptoms. And this was in general populations. So this didn't matter
it's free.
if you were smart or dumb or rich or poor, man or woman.
Yeah. And it's free.
Amazing. And it's free.
It's free.
So I'm going to
and you can do it. Yeah.
Well,
you can do it in the comfort of your own home, anywhere. That's the cool thing about it. You don't have to go somewhere for getting gratitude or being grateful. You don't have to go anywhere.
I think the big part about it is people get stuck on how to do it. I don't know what to be grateful for. I don't know how to do that. I'm not going to do a journal. So come up with 3 ways that you can work on gratitude on a daily basis that take 2.5 minutes in total and don't involve a journal. So, number one, just waiting for the slide to load. Okay. Number one is called the gratitude alarm. We've all got alarms or alerts in our phones. And so what you want to do is set one that goes off every day. So set a daily phone alarm with a label that says something like, name one thing I'm glad about. Right? So again, take the word gratitude out. Take the word gratitude out, because I feel like there's such a stigma based on it. But what's one thing I'm glad about today? Right? Because being glad about something is gratitude. And then when it goes off, take 10 seconds and just think about it or say it out loud. That's it. So no journal.
Gratitude alarm.
Gratitude alarm. Number 2, call it a thank you drive-by. This one takes a whopping 2 minutes. So again, once a day, and you can set an alarm in your phone, again, another one, or use it for your gratitude alarm. Once a day, send a quick message to someone. And the message is as simple as, hey, Ev, thanks for being such a good friend. You're awesome. That's it.
Yeah, cool.
Right? So you're giving I'm giving gratitude because Ev is a good buddy, even though I give him shit all the time. And then he feels good too. Right? So this one's a double whammy. It's a micro gratitude that hits both sides. And it can take literally 30 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. It's not talking about like going into depth about stuff. Just, each day take 1 or 2 minutes and send somebody a message. And it could be on your phone, it could be a sticky note of somebody at home, could be an email. Any way you want to connect with people. And the third one is called the 3 things reset. And this one is at the end of the day. You don't have to have a journal. You can just think about it or talk about it. Name 3 things that didn't suck today, right? And they could be big ones,
That
like
didn't suck.
my child slept through the night. Like that, whoa, that's a big one, right? Or
That's
it could
a
be a
big one.
tiny one like, man, that coffee was good today. That's it. And the cool part about this, and the research shows this, is it trains your brain to notice more wins through the day. The more you,
Oh yeah,
the old saying, the more you focus on something, the more you see it, right? If you
that's
don't
right.
think about red cars, you never see a red car. But if you think about red cars today, you're going to see 50 of them. Your brain
That's right.
looks for things you're training yourself. So that's a great way to do
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Yeah, I love that. We do gratitudes as a family often at the dinner
Nice.
table. That's a ritual.
Nice.
So it would be, there's 3 things that we go around the table and share. We used to do this almost every night, but now it's like maybe once a week. The kids ask for it still, which is cool. It's one thing so everybody shares one thing they're grateful for, one thing that they're looking forward to, and one thing that they did well today. And it's interesting how hard it is to get around the table. There's 5 in our family. How hard it is to get around the table because there's so much great conversation that comes out of this. And it's really in that, like, this is a really good endorphin releasing, feel good vibes that are being created. And just one more point, because I want to say that's something that you can bring into a Christmas dinner, even,
Dude,
bringing into,
that's like number 9. We're going to get
shut up.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, shh, we're going to get to it.
Shut the hell up, man. You're just blowing my whole freaking list. Damn. Okay, well.
I love how we're on the same page, though. So number 5 is move every day, right? And this is one that's definitely not a Christmas thing. But at the Christmas holidays, I'm going to show you a couple of very one particular super simple move that is going to make a massive difference. So movement is literally medicine for stress. It's been shown that walking is as effective as the strongest antidepressant for depression, right? So literally it's a movement medicine, or medicine for stress. So even short bursts of movement help regulate hormones such as insulin, cortisol, sex hormones, thyroid hormones. Pretty cool stuff. And then you can mix it up. You can walk, you can stretch, you can dance, you can chase the kids. It doesn't really matter. But movement is such an important point. And let's check out some of this research when it comes to insulin and movement. So how can 10 minutes of exercise impact insulin after eating? So light movement after a meal, which means basically once you finish your meal, you don't sit around or go watch TV. You just get up and do a 10-minute walk. Like it's not even about a run or anything. Literally just a light, not even a fast walk, just a walk. So light movement after a meal activates GLUT4 transporters. And what that does is it allows muscles to absorb glucose without needing insulin.
Oh, wow.
How cool is that?
That's super cool. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes of walking can reduce post-meal insulin levels by 20 to 40%.
Right on.
10 minutes of walking.
Movement. Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
So movement flattens the glucose spikes.
Yeah.
Oh,
beautiful.
Let me keep going and then you jump in.
You roll.
Movement flattens the glucose spikes, reduces the crash, and improves insulin sensitivity for hours afterwards. It's one of the simplest, most effective metabolic tools, no equipment and no intensity required. So there's 5 benefits to improved insulin sensitivity, which again, 10-minute blow after eating. An improved body composition, reduced risk of chronic disease such as diabetes, heart disease, fatty liver, better overall hormone balance, and improved work performance and recovery.
Yeah, right on.
So as a tip, right? Movement every day, I've
That's
said, is always
yeah.
ridiculously important. Me and I've had the debate, movement versus food. Right? But I think this one is a game changer for people. For a big old heavy Christmas meal, just get them go for an easy 10-minute walk.
Easy 10-minute walk.
Crazy,
Yeah,
right?
and you're just really focusing a lot on the benefits of the reduced release of insulin, but there's so many more too, right? I mean, we could do another episode on just the benefits of movement. Yeah, but yeah, like you need to move every day. Let's just be real. Like every day you got to be moving. It doesn't have to be, like Scott said, intense. You might as well put it in after dinner, that 10-minute walk, but definitely moving your body even at another time during the day, even if you can get your heart rate up a little bit. There's some added benefits to that. So yeah, definitely moving every day is key.
Number 6 is what I call eat with intention. So this is not going to be a nutrition seminar, just like a movement seminar, because Ev's the nutrition guy, but I'm just going to give a few pointers around eating with intention rather than saying, oh, you got to eat perfect over the holidays because whatever, because you're not going to. I know you're going to splurge, but think about a few different things one exactly is think about what you eat. Just be aware of what you're eating, because if you're not aware and you're just like, man, I'm just going to eat whatever I want for the next 3 weeks during Christmas and I'll deal with it in January. Your January self is going to regret that. So just eating with some intention. Use the 80-20 rule. 80% nourishing foods, 20% festive fun. Focus on protein and fiber first. A whole bunch of protein and fiber in you, some meat and salads and stuff, and then dessert, because then you're less likely to go for the second dessert. Hydrate, because sometimes when you're hungry, it's coming from dehydration. When you're up late and you're drinking more and all that, so big one. And enjoy the treats, but just don't make it every meal. Don't think about it again, that, oh, it's Christmas, every single meal I got to have a dessert. Just be intentional with it. Yeah, what do you got for that?
Not much more, really. Just
Yeah.
I think the intention side of things, being aware of what you're putting on your plate, and I love the guidance there. Protein first, like, you know, the protein's key. Does a lot for you, and that with the fiber, with the veggies and like the salad, for example, is great, you know, and then focus on the other stuff, like if you have space, but that's really going to stabilize. The protein's really going to stabilize the sugar that you bring in if you do have a dessert.
Yeah.
If you just have, that's why he said protein and fiber. He's really focusing on those because that's going to help stabilize things. And a lot of people don't, you know, they don't focus on it. And like, oh, I'm not going to eat protein. You know, I don't want to eat a lot of meat because I think it's going to make me fat. And it's like, no, it's like,
It's the opposite.
you need a good solid chunk of meat, you know, and it's okay if it has some connective tissue and some, actually even some bits of animal fat and mixed in and that kind of thing. Like,
Well, I'll tell you,
know,
the next step is I asked people at the seminar to give me some of their, you know, favorite holiday foods, and I mentioned a couple of mine. So I'm going to tell you one of mine, and then I want you to tell me one of yours. This was a salad my wife found a number of years ago in a magazine, and it's ended up being kind of a tradition where she gets a couple of Christmas magazines and ends up trying a new dish from one of them each year. She's got like a turkey one she wants to try this year, but this is one we had, I'm going to say, oh my God, no, not 5. We're talking 10, 12 years ago, and every year we've had it since. And it's a duck and peach salad. So here's the key to it. You roast walnuts on the pan so they're all crispy. Then you get the duck breast. You know how the duck breast has that, like, you know, half a centimeter of fat on the end, like on the breast. So you put that fat down in a big pan, and then you cut up the peaches and de-pip them. So you got like half peaches. And then in the rest of the pan, you put those peaches face down. And so what happens is, as the duck cooks, the fat comes out of the breast and the peaches soak up the duck fat.
No.
And then you slice the duck and the peaches, put it in the salad, the greens with the walnuts, and it is phenomenal. It is
wow.
like, yeah, it is so good.
I don't even think you can buy duck here, though. To be honest, I don't think you can buy it here.
Well, you could do it with any sort of fatty meat that there's going to be some fat coming.
Yeah.
So you could do it probably with lamb. Lamb would be a good one that you could do it with.
Right.
The other one is I have a smoker and I smoke on half a side of salmon. Fresh smoked salmon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Nice to have these traditions. Yeah, mine really is not anywhere near like yours is like that's elite. That's elite. Yeah, no, I just like a really good turkey. Yeah, I just like really good turkey, just a simple straight up turkey and just mow down
all the
on that. Yeah, on that turkey and just like the traditional in our where I'm from, traditional
Canadian.
Christmas dinner would be a turkey, mashed potatoes with gravy, and then it could be something simple on the side like green beans and a salad, and then a dessert. That could be the meal. Sometimes squash is a side. So I mean, and then pumpkin pie is pretty common for Christmas dinner dessert. So that would be like my traditional. Like if someone invited me over for that, I would be really excited.
Really happy.
That would I'd be really happy. That would be fun, just to have that,
Absolutely.
So that'd be mine. And that would be a great meal. I would say to somebody like, go to town on that meal. And if you have a slice of pumpkin pie at the end, then
and this is what we're talking about, right? It's not about being perfect, but it's about using some of these quote unquote hacks. Like after that meal, go for a 10-minute walk.
Go for a 10-minute walk. Which is a
10
really
minute
nice
walk,
thing
10
to do
minute
after a
stretch,
meal.
10 minutes jog on the spot, 10 minute do some squats, right? Like, it doesn't have to be a walk because if again you're in the cold climate or whatever and you're like, man, I'm just snow boots and this and that. Find something different. All right, number 7.
I like that. Yeah, you go.
What do you like?
That going out for the walk in the cold. Getting bundled up, and then for Christmas, that's a Christmas thing. Like, if you're not going to do it other times of the year, like, do that walk with the family after dinner on Christmas, on Christmas Eve, and then that's special. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Number 7 is breathe like you mean it, because your lungs are the original stress management tool, and if anyone's ever done any type of breath work, it is very powerful stuff.
Very.
So just deep belly breath just calms that nerve system down so quickly. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
So I think we've got it in the book. I have it actually in my posture book.
Oh, it's
but I think we
absolutely
put it
in
in
our
the Daddius book. Yeah,
it's absolutely in the book. We talk about breath. Now, actually, like breath work's becoming a really popular thing right now.
It is.
And they're talking a lot about NBA players using breath work and all that. And I've incorporated it into my game. I didn't have that in my game when I was younger playing in high school. And one of the guys here that plays with me, he's from the States. His name's Ben, great basketball player, and he teaches kids here. Yeah, he'll be watching. He's actually a new dad, and he's got our book, which is super cool. So, nice. But great basketball player. But his focus with kids is to teach them breath work with basketball, and uses basketball as a platform to help kids with those things you talked about the mental side of things, and how to, like, the game of basketball is like the game of life, dealing with adversity and failure and all these sorts of things, and stress and what's coming and all that stuff, worrying about like, am I gonna, like, what am I gonna, how's this gonna go, like, how am I gonna do, all these different stresses that oftentimes people are thinking about in their day-to-day lives that don't involve sports, but he uses the platform of sport and basketball to practice these things. So anyway,
back to expectations that we talked about, right? So when you're having these expectations around, oh my God, I got to deal with the mother-in-law at Christmas dinner, or whatever the case might be, instead of getting drunk on Jägermeisters,
Jägermeister,
Red Bull Jägermeister,
56 herbs and spices.
Instead of that, practice what we call box breathing. So what box breathing is one of the most simple but amazing breath work techniques. So what it is you breathe in for a count of 4, you hold for a count of 4, you breathe out for a count of 4, and then you hold for a count of 4 and repeat. And you can do it once, you can do it 5 times, you can do it 10 times. You can use that while looking at the expectations you have around something, and you can see how it will deaden those stress nerves, like that stress response in your body.
This is a phenomenon. This is a gold nugget. This is huge. Again, I like these ones that you can just do without, you don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to move, you can just be there, like gratitude. That's one you can just do on the spot anytime. And I like this one too, a lot. And I learned this from a guy. He looks like Tarzan. The guy's like absolutely ripped, and he is a yoga teacher down here. And I often think that like a rope's gonna just fall down and he's just gonna swing out of the place. But he taught me the box breath. And I was going through a crazy time in my life. We had just moved down here. We didn't have a house. We were like trying to build, and there was just a lot of things we were going through. And I was using box breath a lot. And he would, Duncan, this yoga teacher, he would do it before the yoga class. Because everybody, even though we're living in the jungle, people are dealing with stuff. And he was doing
yogurt. A yogurt class?
Yeah, yoga. Yoga class. The people are coming in and they've got their stuff, they're coming in with their life. And this was a yin yoga class, which is really about like letting gravity stretch your body. It's a very expansive, slow, it's a really nice class. And so he would have people do this box breathing for, I think, 2 minutes straight. And by the time that 2 minutes was over, I felt amazing. I'm like, I've got no problems in my life. I was just like, it just completely rewired my whole, totally, we talked about the nervous system, totally shifts the body out of the fight or flight and gets you into self-awareness, dreaming, like just feeling like life is good. It's like you're literally high, but you haven't taken anything. You're just feeling like good. And then it's really great for what you're doing after. So it's something that you could do, anticipating, having that expectation that maybe this isn't going to go so well, but rather just like stop. Okay, I'm feeling some anxiety in my body right now that I'm making up. It's actually not present in this moment. And my body physiologically is changing to match that, which is not going to help me at all. I'm just going to take a few breaths here. And it's literally, it can change you within seconds. A great example is when I'm playing basketball, because there's a lot of pressure when you're playing basketball. If it's a tight game, it's competitive. We had one yesterday. It was a super tight game. We're down 13. Every single shot matters. And so the ball's coming to me. And as I'm seeing the ball, there's this thought that used to creep into my mind, like, oh man, am I going to hit this shot? But I replaced that with breathing as the ball's coming to me. So now I'm just engaging in breathing and I'm just trusting that my practice over time is going to do the job. And that's part of it. It's like there's the breathing and then just trusting, like, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Like there is some element of just trusting yourself and being like, I'm going to be cool. I'm breathing, settle my nervous system, and be like, we're going to be all right. Go ahead.
Number 8 is setting boundaries. Because, as busy dads, lots of stuff needs to get done over the holidays, and certain things are necessity, but others are not. So use the word no as a complete sentence and be okay with it. Because overcommitting and overwhelm go hand in hand. Right. And mantra I've been using over the last little while for my own life in a number of ways is nobody really cares. And what I mean by that is not in a bad way, but in a positive way. Like, people will pass judgment about you no matter what you do. And most of the judgment is by people you don't know and that you don't care about. And that judgment will last for 3 seconds, and then they're moved on to the next thing because nobody cares. So it's a really, really great way to realize that you've got to live your life for you. And you got to do what's right for you. Nobody else cares. So protect your time and energy. It's super important because you can't pour from that empty cup. You need to have a full cup to be able to do the things you want to do in life for the people who really matter. So overcommitting leads to overwhelm. And there's something called the effort reward imbalance. And what it is, so this was a study done on employees in high stress professions, such as nurses and teachers. And they found that intrinsic overcommitment, so the tendency to push oneself beyond normal limits, was strongly associated with impaired mental health and higher risk of burnout. So another study done looked at biological stress markers. So what they called it was, it's called an allostatic load. What that means is basically allostatic is overall stress. And so it was a combination of neuroendocrine, metabolic, and cardiovascular biomarkers. So these are blood markers. And it showed high in healthcare workers, high overcommitment correlated with elevated allostatic load. And what that means, it was high rates of psychiatric symptoms and was linked to altered daily cortisol patterns and elevated stress hormone levels across the whole day.
All right.
So when we overcommit, we go to overwhelm. We go to overwhelm, we're there for long enough, we go to burnout. And we're burnout, we're not going to be any good as a dad. So we've got to really focus on not burning out. Chronic stress isn't just in your head. It can manifest biologically through hormones and allostatic load. It can manifest physically, such as musculoskeletal pain. So I always talk about that. Mental emotional stress is one of the main reasons why people come to see me with back pain. And that undermines posture, recovery, energy, and overall health. And overcommitment can reduce the effects of healthy habits. This is huge. So think about it this way. Even if someone's doing the right things, they're moving well, they're eating well, they're sleeping, persistent overcommitment may perpetuate stress hormones, impair recovery, and blunt the benefits of all that lifestyle work. So you're overcommitted, you're doing all the other right things, and it's still not going well. Look at this overcommitment process, because you might not even see overcommitment as a stress, but you might be just viewing it as being busy, and it's just part of life. It's probably the most common answer I get when I ask somebody, how are you going? Oh, busy. Oh, just busy, life. Scientifically, as shown, it significantly increases the risk of exhaustion, burnout, poor mental and physical health.
Well, I mean, Christmas time is the ultimate time for overwhelm, for sure. People, one Christmas thing after the other. It's, going out for the Christmas party with work, then going out to the friend's Christmas party. Then you've got the family event. Then you got to go to the other family event. And then there's the travel. And then there's getting the gifts in time. And there's like all the stuff. And that's the idea, is to really evaluate, like, how is that going to actually play out? Because there's the planning side of it, like, let's schedule the event, but then there's the actual doing of it and the preparation. Are you giving yourself time to like recover? And if you're doing these things and doing some of the other things that like you shouldn't be doing, on top of overwhelming yourself, and you're drinking and you're losing sleep and you're not, it's like you're gonna be a freaking train wreck by the time this Christmas holiday is over, because you're really putting a lot of things potentially on top of each other that could really, really do some damage
it's the holiday health trap that I talked about in the beginning, right?
The holiday health trap.
Yeah.
HH trap.
So number 9 is connect. And what I mean by that is for real, not online. So human connection boosts serotonin and oxytocin. And those are two of the best hormones for feel-good stuff. But not only feel-good stuff, massively important for overall health. So call an old friend, play games, share stories, be present, not just physically there with your phone in your hand. Put your phone down, because the memories you want to create aren't on Instagram.
No.
So
No,
how do we do that? I've got somebody who, I'll call him sort of a colleague slash, not a friend by any means, but I do know him. He's here in Australia, and he was going to do the forward for our book. We had a chat with him. If you remember, his name's Aaron Rubenstein. Ended up not happening, but not for any reason but ourselves and the follow-up that we did not do with him. He's got a program called the Rites of Passage Institute, and he sent out an email recently through that, and it was a beautiful email. So I added this in for the connection side here. He said, what are we really trying to create during the holidays? Really, what it comes down to is connection, joy, memories. And it's definitely not about those Black Friday sales, because the stuff that we get, it'll be lost, it'll be broken, or it'll be something we never even wanted in the first place. And the best gift costs nothing. And this is where I used, there's a chapter in our book called something like this. I can't remember the exact name. Presence is the best present. Right? And this one's about connection with your kids.
Your kids want your presence, not your presence.
Exactly.
I don't know if, presence
something
being
like that.
they want to be with you. They want to spend time with you more than they want something.
Yeah. So two simple practices he talked about. One is called the golden check-in. And he called it golden because GOLDEN stands for questions. So he said, when you gather around, whether it's with your immediate family or a bigger gathering, not a party, but like a gathering of people that really matter, gather around and have, a conch. So the person holding it is the only one allowed to speak. So it doesn't get into a conversation back and forth. This is about focusing on one person at a time. And answer for G is, how's it going overall in your life? O is, what have you been occupied with lately? L is, what have you really liked recently? D is, has anything been difficult lately? E is, what are you excited about? Or what are you worried about? And N is, what support do you need that I can provide? So how powerful would that be to just check in with each family member and answer those questions individually, where no one else talks? It's all about them, and they can get what they need to say out.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
And this next one I think is even more beautiful, and he calls it honoring. And so this one can feel a bit awkward, but it can be very powerful. And so take a moment when you're together and have each person have a turn at this one. And so when it's this person's turn, they don't say anything. They just sit there and absorb. And everyone else that's there shares with that person what they love, admire, and respect about that person. And that gift will last forever. More than any present can last. Yeah.
That's something that we do. I like doing this during Christmas. That's a great idea. The honoring. And it reminds me of something that we do for birthdays, which is when it's somebody's birthday, we go around the table and talk about what we love about that person whose birthday it is.
Yeah.
So each of our family members, so it's our family of 5, and we go around the table and just share like what we love about that person. And it's such a beautiful experience to watch that person receive, and then they have the opportunity to share at the end and just talk about whatever's on their heart. And it's my favorite part of birthday is that part, more than the presents. And actually the cards, I love the cards because they say beautiful things too. It's an opportunity to acknowledge and to tell somebody how much you care about them. And I think doing it during Christmas really adds, a lot of depth to, and connection to that experience. So that's beautiful.
And then number 10 is called reflect and reset. So it's kind of like the whole New Year's resolution, but not, right? So I think New Year's resolutions have been overdone to the point where nobody does them anymore, because they think, and it's true for the most part, New Year's resolutions don't really happen for most people. So this is just a different perspective on that. And so use downtime to realign with your goals and your values. What worked this year? What did I learn this year? What didn't work this year? What needs to change this year? Don't wait for January to start being healthy. You can start doing it now, because a calm mind creates a powerful next chapter. So what I did is I came up with 10 questions that you can ask yourself to help you reset for the year. So number 1, What are the 3 things that, if they improved even slightly, would make a massive difference in my life?
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing regularly that drains me mentally, emotionally, or physically? And what would it look like if I was able to reduce that by 50%? Where am I overcommitting out of guilt, fear, or habit instead of alignment with values? What relationships do I want to deepen because they genuinely make life better? What health habits make me feel the best? And why am I not making them a non-negotiable in my life? That's a big one, hey? Such an interesting concept in that question. Number 6, if the year ended today, what would I regret not having done? What is one thing I can stop doing that would immediately reduce stress? What are my top 3 values? And where am I living out of alignment with those values? What is one bold thing that I can do this year that my future self will thank me for? And if I could only accomplish one thing this year, what would make everything else seem easier or even irrelevant?
Wow.
Great questions to ask, eh?
Great questions. That's a deep dive. That's a deep dive. Yeah, I like that. We got to somehow provide that to the guys as maybe we just add that. How about that? We add that to the website.
Add it to the show notes.
Yeah, show notes for sure. I don't know. Yeah, if it can include all that.
Oh yeah,
it fits everything. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, show notes can be pretty big. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's great. Okay, so check the show notes for that information because I think those are great questions. 10, I mean, if you got through this entire episode, I'm sure like you implement these things into your life. Wow, I think like this is a great way to transform yourself, implementing these just on a regular basis. This is like so much of how I live, and what I think about every day. Things that I use every single day, you just brought in. And I feel very fortunate to have found these things, a lot of them through chiropractic actually. But yeah, it's all in the book as well, not these specific questions, but the framework. And the Daddius project is about going through a framework and a process that's going to help you integrate strategies like these that are going to help up your level and just your experience of life and your fulfillment in life. We were talking about it at the beginning of the show, and we're just going to close off with this is, when it comes to being a dad, there's these six pillars that you need to be good at all of them. You need to be good at all of them. Daddius, we're not Daddius, but Daddius is good at all of them, and he's the man. and our goal is to be as good as Daddius at all 6 of these. Because really it is about fulfillment of life and the legacy that we leave behind. We got one shot, we got one swing at this life, right? So, it really is about working on ourselves, and starting off with like, I'm a work in progress. Every day I'm a work in progress. And starting off with that mentality, like being open to learning and knowing that you're in process. You're not perfect. Like, when you make a mistake, don't be so tough that you can't admit it. Don't be that guy. You're like, it's actually more lighthearted and more fun to be like, yeah.
I fucked that one up, didn't I?
yeah. Totally screwed that up.
It's about striving for better, not for perfection. Because like that,
that's right.
Like Ev said, Daddius is this mythical super dad. Like he's got his shit together in every aspect. We do not.
Yeah.
We are striving for better, and sometimes we do better, and sometimes we don't. Right? But what I'll end this with today is just a quick recap. So you get your daily posture check and chest lift. Get that chest up, get that posture better each and every day. If you're under chiropractic care, awesome. If you're not, I'd suggest maybe have a look. Get checked by what we call a wellness chiropractor. Get your 100%. Sleep in order. Move every day. 10 minutes after every big meal. or after every meal will be perfect. Get your mindset on right, your expectations and your gratitude. Set your boundaries. Use your deep breathing when needed and when not needed. Just use it daily, but then use it in those stressful periods. Look at that gratitude as mentioned. Connect on a proper level, and then reflect and reset with the questions we looked at to set yourself up well for the new year. So I hope you guys have a holly jolly merry jerry Christmas. We will be here again for 1 or 2 episodes before Christmas, but we thought we'd get this one out a little early so you can just get yourself set up for the holidays in this next coming few weeks.
Yeah, man. All right. Share this with your fellas. I'll see you on the next one, guys.
That's another episode in the books, dads. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was dadhood.
True story. For more tools to build your best dad life, grab our book, The Daddius Project, or join us at daddius.com.
And hey, if you learned one thing today, you're already winning. Even if that one thing was never trust a 3-year-old with glitter.
Words to live by. Now go forth and dad like a pro.